Whoa. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this?
You all ready for this?
Alright, we are live. What is up, guys? It's your boy Sean Flac 2.0 coming at you live and direct from the YouTube studio. Welcome to another episode of the Dad's Life Podcast. Who I got with me here via satellite. We're going to start off with our special guest, Chiron79. Welcome, sir, and thank you for joining us tonight.
What up, what up?
And of course, above me, I got Mr. Krinlee. Mr. Krinlee.
Hey, how's it going?
Another beautiful day. And of course, last but not least, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sensei Jon. What's up, man?
What's happening? It's been a week. I've been gone. What's been going on?
Shoot.
What's been going on?
What's that Rihanna song called? Work, 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 work.
You and me both, buddy.
All right, what is up, guys? Again, just welcome to another episode of the Dad's Live Podcast. Today, we are going to be doing a little bit of recap. Sensei Jon wasn't here last week to kind of talk about the birds and the bees. So we're going to let him kind of give his little take on that. We'll just see where the episode takes us. It's kind of been open. If you guys didn't hear our little pre-recording there before we went live, I've been at work all week, and I'm behind on some stuff. So I wasn't able to, no Sensei was also busting it at work too. So again, we just going to go with the flow. So welcome. Before we get started, we have those good old shout outs. I want to say thank you for all our patrons. And yes, I am slacking. Chiron79 pointed out that I did not put up our After Dark episode because, again, I've been real busy at work. I do apologize, but we do appreciate you guys. If you are interested in becoming a patron, you head over to shadowpackwest.com, and our splash page right there is the button to join your patron, our Patreon, and you can start your patron as little as $1 a month. I've been saying $1 a day, and that would be awesome too, but it's as little as $1 a month. That's all I got for our early show shout-outs. Chiron, do you have any early show shout-outs?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out AZ Bikers Unfiltered. They're, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've been into motorcycles lately, and that's the group that's been helping me get through my personal struggles with a motorcycle and throwing your body out into chaos that is life.
Okay.
But, yeah. So, shout out to AZ Bikers Unfiltered. Thank you.
All right, AZ Bikers and Filters, give them the horns. Okay. Mr. Krinlee, do you got any shout-outs you want to shout out?
Let's shout out that uniform over there. What you got on there, Chiron?
What, you like my Hogwarts?
The Gryffindor robe and
Yeah, my Gryffindor robe, my Gryffindor t-shirt, my Gryffindor hat. I got my wand. So watch out.
don't put a spell on me.
Team seems Salamine. Oh no, that's Johnny Quest.
Yeah, that's.
Okay.
Most people won't even know what you're talking about.
I know.
You just aged yourself.
I'm showing
Yeah.
my age. Yeah.
And Sensei, what you got for shout-outs pre-show?
Man,
Early
it's
show.
always to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who's the head of my life, my family, my friends, my loved ones, you guys. Glad to see y'all. I'm glad to be back. Took a little hiatus. Went on a little Vegas trip, It was one to remember.
Right. But not to be told.
Yes, sir. I had a great, wonderful, and excellent time with a bunch of friends.
Shoot, nothing wrong with that. Okay, so before we get started, Mr. Krinlee, with our today's topic, what do we got to get out of the way first?
We got to go ahead and get out of the way what is in your cup. So I've actually got a few things here tonight. I got water with a little flavor packet, some Dole. Then I got sitting over here a Waterloo, blackberry lemonade Waterloo. Thank you, Sean Flack, for that.
Well, is
And
that
then
a
I
thank
got
you, or is that a is that a
well. I mean, it's a thank you for I tried something new. Whether I like it or not doesn't really matter.
okay? I'll take that.
But and then I got good old trusty. What you're supposed to be guessing. So Njord's not here to give that whole spiel, but if you guess what's in my cup this season, you get the whole like the voice, the horns, the Final Fantasy victory music.
The-
Yeah, you know.
okay, all right.
So,
Okay, so again, you guys got to figure out what's in Krinlee's cup. And how do you do that? How do you do that, Krinlee? How do they find out what's in your cup?
put it down in the comments. You watch. Well, you go back, watch the last 2 seasons, 3 seasons, 2 seasons,
2 seasons.
and yeah, and it's about every episode. That's what I got. So go back, watch the episodes, and then put it in the comments. And then the next episode, Njord will be back, give you them horns.
Okay.
Well, Sean gives the horns. Njord's got the milkshake voice.
Okay, I'll go next. What's in my cup tonight? A mini Diet Dr. Pepper, and I'm gonna give you guys that little crack crack. Oh yeah, that's good. That sounds refreshing.
Your mic blocked out all the sound.
Oh, I
It
did.
just-
Don't
They-
worry.
you're
They
gonna-
can hear it though.
Yeah, they got it. I got it. Oh yeah, I forgot to take my pop filter off, huh?
I think the last time went back and listened to it, I could hear it even with the pop filter on.
Okay. All right. There you go. All right. Let's see, Chiron. What's in your cup?
Well, I just got my.
Oh, those are awesome.
Yeah, I like them.
Okay.
What are they?
It tastes like that orange soda, the bubbly orange soda.
Fanta.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I
without
don't
the
know
fizz
about
though.
Fanta. Yeah, without the fizz.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right, Sensei. What's in your
Stanley
cup?
though.
Oh,
Keep it cold.
Oh, yeah.
Stanley keep it keep it cold, huh?
Hell yeah.
Well, today I am drinking some 2021 Cab Franc. I don't know if y'all can see that. Louis Martini. That's what
Nice.
Sensei is drinking tonight.
okay. Keeping it
Real
classy.
light. Yeah, I'm gonna stay classy, man. I'm a classic man, you know?
Yeah, man, I heard that.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Here.
All right. Okay. Last week, Sensei, were you able to listen to last week's episodes or to some of the highlights or whatever to kind of, or do you need me to give you
I was not.
the Sean's notes for it?
Yeah, give me the Sean notes for it, because
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to.
Okay, so last week we talked about the birds and the bees. We shared our personal experiences about how we came into that. Then we kind of went into talking about it in school, like how was it taught to you in school or whatever the case is, and then I'm not gonna say it went sideways, but we definitely got on some other topics.
wow.
Some
I gotta
bills
listen to
that
that.
are out that have to do with that, and that are some GOP talking points.
Wow.
Yeah, so you got to, like I said, if you guys are interested in that part of it, go ahead and check that out. And then of course I do need to post up that After Dark episode because it was actually pretty good. But yeah, that's basically where we kind of went. We shared our experiences, what our thoughts were about some of the bills that were out there. Regarding certain things in school, what should be taught in school, or what's certain people's opinions were about where that was, where talking about sex education was. I brought in, my dad's thing was like I compartmentalized, sex education as the biological part, the emotional part, the faith, then Njord brought in like the faith part and the relationships. So the different things that I felt was like, compartmentalized with it, and
Mhm.
so yeah, I mean that was it. And then we had a nice little discussion about it.
Okay.
So yeah, just checking on some stuff here.
Yeah, everything good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we um so the yeah, I mean, what was it like the fifth grade for you guys? I think I learned about it in the fifth grade.
I think it
For
was
me,
like
it was in
sixth.
middle school.
Yeah, it was sixth grade for me.
Hmm. Well, Sean, how many years you spent in high school?
Four. Middle school was sixth, seventh, and eighth, and then high school was 9, 10, and 11. 9, 10, 11,
Yeah,
12.
we learned about it in fifth grade. I learned about it in elementary
Oh, okay. All right.
out in yeah, where I'm from. Yeah, we had it's science, sex education. We had to get permission from our parents,
Right. The
of
whole
course.
permission slip. Yep.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, and it was cool, like to learn about the anatomy and the woman's anatomy, uh, our anatomy, and what we do and how we do the damn thing. What was to be expected for us to procreate in this world. Um. Yeah, and then I think I lost like my virginity, like I was like 14 or 15.
Oh, you just play a
It was
player.
on. It was like on and cracking. I think it was in the 10th grade. Yeah.
um. So, did your parents have an influence on any like trying to talk to you or have that talk with you?
Yeah, my mom always talk to me about well, their main thing was they were like uh you so my mom thing was always you never miss what you ain't never had.
But then you went and had it, and then you missed
And then I was
it.
like, shit.
Okay.
So that was like it was never like I ain't gonna lie, it was never like a sit down to where it was like hey, this is, it was always more so those things that tell you not to do something
Right.
when they came to my parents. You
Okay.
know what I mean?
Okay.
I never really I don't think had that talk with like my dad or anything. It wasn't really like a thing.
Right.
They were so like damn busy with work and getting home and taking care of us. It never just like popped up.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's just how it was.
right. I mean, I kind of shared kind of like the same thing. Like, I mean, like my dad had adult magazines. You know what I'm saying? That were like sliding around and things like that. I'm just like,
Right.
oh, what is that? I mean, besides the science class, right? Beside the science class with it.
Right. Obviously, my dad was in the military, so yeah,
Right. So
I
Chiron,
ain't gonna, I ain't gonna air him out like.
right. So Chiron, would you like to share like how sex education was? I guess where we're going with this is we also want to talk about because I have an older child, Sensei has an older child, and Chiron, you have an older child. So one of the things that popped up too was, we shared how it was presented to us, and then we wanted to know, especially like Njord and Krinlee, like they have smaller kids. They were like, well, how did you talk to your kids versus how your parents talked to you? So before we get into how you guys had those talks with your kids, Chiron, did you want to share if like how you learned about the birds and the bees?
How did I learn about it? It was the class in sixth grade,
Okay.
and it was just a 2-day class. The first day went over what a penis was, what a vagina was, and all the anatomy. That was about it. And then the second day was where they physically showed a penis ejaculating inside of a vagina.
Wow, they
That
had
was
that. Wow.
traumatizing.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
traumatizing. Right at that age, you're like, what the? Yeah. And then they did the
Wow.
old. Then they did the old banana and condom thing, and then everybody got condoms at the end. And oh, don't be afraid. It was one of those. We
Oh.
know you little shits are gonna fuck, so come get some condoms, right? Like, it wasn't. I don't know. They had kind of rode down the AIDS wave. It had kind of died down.
Okay.
How we were kind of back in this little. I'm a Gen Xer, so it was. They were all right with fucking as long as you wrapped up your sausage. They really, other than that, it wasn't. It wasn't, which is crap, right? Because I ended up with a kid at 16, so obviously
You know
I
what?
wasn't paying
Yeah,
attention or shit, So
I was gonna ask that. Like, did anybody have knew anybody that had like a kid like in junior high or high school?
mine was. I did my senior year of high school, rocking a kid underneath my desk while I finished all my final exams.
Oh wow.
You a beast.
You right that part. I don't know. I mean, I grew up in East Oakland. I'm sure there were, you know, but I didn't know them. I personally didn't know anybody
Yeah.
that had a child.
But you seen him at
in high
school or like?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. How
Yeah, I knew a
Yeah.
girl in middle school, like 8th grade, before we even got into high school.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Sensei?
What?
Did you know anybody personally that had a child that young?
Not personally, no. Nah, not personally. I didn't. No. But seen him at school, like, damn, old baby.
Right.
You know, high school for sure. It was actually, yeah, it was. It was one of my football teammates. Him and his chick. Yeah, she had a baby in high school.
Oof. Man, I thought I had
Yep.
mine
She
young.
was.
I couldn't fathom
Yeah.
that.
I mean, it was crazy though. She was like one of the cool, like not hella like popular chicks, but she was just like this sweet, innocent girl, and he got a hold of her and just bam.
I've
I guess she
seen
wasn't
those
so
before.
sweet and innocent.
Right. She got one of them bad boys, huh? For life,
Yeah,
literally.
life.
For life.
Well, at least for 18 to 24.
Right, that part. Okay.
Yeah, them kids don't stop bothering you after that either.
I know. If you're involved, you know what I'm saying. It's for life.
Right, it's for life, baby. You a
Okay.
lifer.
So yeah. When I talked to my son, it was it was a sit down. It wasn't a big major thing. I just told him, hey man, this is what was gonna happen. This is what could happen when you decide to have sex. Like the main purpose of it is to make babies. And I just always told him not to do what I did. You know, I had my son at what 23 or 22, 23. Yeah.
Dang, you were ancient when you had your kid.
So it changed my life. So I didn't want that for him because it changed it into the struggle, and the struggle was real. So
Right.
I just didn't want him to go down the same path I did. So what about you guys? How'd you guys have the talk with your kids in contrast to how it was kind of given to you, or did you guys kind of let the school or do the class? Was that even a thing when you guys had your kids growing up?
Say it again, Sean.
Was that a thing for you guys when you guys were coming up? Did they still have the sex education classes for your kids?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think I had to sign a permission slip. I think. Damn, so it felt like it was so long ago.
Well, it was like 4
It
years
really
ago, 5 years ago, maybe.
Nah, he's about to be 20, so I mean, he had to be like what? When 5th grade, how old are you? 10, 11?
Yeah, just about. Shoot, I don't know.
Yeah, so
Don't
yeah,
get me
about 8 or 9 years ago.
Don't get to me though.
Get me there.
You were to lying.
A lot doesn't happen in 8 or 9 years,
Right.
But yeah, no. Cameron, you want to go first?
Well, my kids were kind of all over the place. So, let's say my oldest was always in so much trouble. that he was around guys a whole lot more than he was around girls, if you know
Oh.
what I mean. So
Yeah.
I really didn't have to worry about too much there going on. Maybe learn how to keep your back against the wall.
Oh man. Okay.
But right, and then beyond that, he's been an adult, so I really didn't have to have a talk with him. Then my youngest boy, he's afraid of a hamster, so he wouldn't. All his girls came out of them Japanese anime books. Talking to a real girl, nah, no. There's this death barrier that he would have to cross and die, and you know, the desert of hell that he would have to cross just to say hi to a girl. So I didn't really have any problems with him either. And then let's flip it on the other side. My daughter,
Daughter, yeah.
There we go.
the minute, yeah, but you're gonna be shocked. The minute she turned 18, we were all pushing her to get pregnant.
Oh wow. Okay. That's a little different right there.
So my daughter has a very, very large amount of medical problems. And one of those things that was told to her was that you would be lucky if you had a kid, but the chances of you having one after the age of 23 will drop down by 85%.
Oh wow.
So
Damn.
her time to get pregnant, and it's been a lot. It's been a lot of doctors, and thank God they're in the military, or I don't know how we would have been able to afford any of this. But right now she's got 2 beautiful kids, but it was a push. Like, it was weird because normally you don't. You're like, no, wait till you're ready, wait till it's the right time, blah, blah, blah. No, we were like, yeah, go, fuck, have babies, populate the world, you know?
You know, Kyron, I don't have a bleep button on here. You know that, right?
Hey, it's the Dad's Life podcast, man.
Right.
So yeah, it was weird. Like, the boys I didn't really have to worry about, and my daughter I pushed. So, but yeah, so
That's
a little bit
interesting.
different situation for me.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
And hey, man, thank you for sharing that. Because you first heard, I was like, and then you guys froze, and I'm like, oh God, what is he saying? Because, and then I was able to catch the back end of it. Like, oh, okay, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, for my son, we've talked about it. And I went kind of like down the road where you went, Sean. Like, hey, man, you don't want to, not saying I'm bad, but you don't want to end up in the same boat that I'm in, right?
Right.
You know, whereas, you know, you're young, you know, you need help and everything else. You want to be in the boat that I'm in now, where I'm married, you know, stable. I got my shit together, and we're able to, you know, provide for our children.
Right.
You know, I said it, and I gave him the experience, and I told him both how the way both experiences went. And I said it had nothing to do with you, but the experience that I'm experiencing now is way less stressful than it was before, because I didn't have the stability in a wife or, you know, a household to take care of. So we did that. We talked about those type of things, and I'm gonna tell y'all, the stability that I have now with my wife is way better. You know, me and my baby mom, or my son's mom, we came to an understanding on money, and you know, I didn't get took through the system and all that, and we worked out the different times, and when I was, you know, every weekend he was with me, holidays, and during the summertime until he came to live with me. Then he was just always with me,
Right.
you know. But yeah, so we had those. I had a cool one. Not everybody has a cool one. You know what I mean? Like, it's totally different. We worked everything out, and to this day, it's been cool. I mean, he 18, he 19 now, about to be 20. So there's really, we don't even like communicate that often unless, it's something we want to do for him or, things of that nature. Other than that, we just keep it real cordial.
Right.
But it was crazy because even though we had the talks and I'm more so, they handled how you do it, but I'm gonna let you know how to navigate around it. And he don't have no kids, but it was funny. He started earlier than me.
Okay.
Crazy. 8th grade. Never forget this. So so he had just moved out here the summer before, right? So he finished 7th grade in the town. He moved out here with us. I got bought a house, with my wife, and we chilling. We knew he was gonna have to go to this school out here, and the school got a bad rep. It was just for 1 year until we got him into this college prep school, or this school where he had to attend, where he was on the college campus, so he was doing dual enrollment. So we had 1 year to get him through, and it was tough. I'm gonna tell you, the girls was just throwing themselves at him. Like, just the girls nowadays are a lot more aggressive than they were when we were going to school. I'm gonna tell you that.
Right. A little bit more
A lot
promiscuous.
more. Yep. Yeah, and a lot more aggressive. It was one in particular girl who, when it's all said and done, she had some trauma in her life, you know what I mean, which probably made her that way,
Mhm.
right? But anyway, I'll make it real short. So they ended up doing whatever, and I guess she told him that she was pregnant, right?
Mm-mm.
And he was walking around the house and stuff like sick, like just with
Yeah.
this
Yeah. I would be
crazy
too.
look, or just acting different. I'm like, man, what the hell is wrong with you, dog? Like, just
Oh,
not
you
doing what
didn't
he's
even
supposed
know
to
why he
do.
was doing it.
Nah. We found out after. But him and my wife got a great rapport. They talk to each other all the time. They have like they get each other. They're very intellectual. So my wife and my son. So they always talked. He always came to her with stuff, which was great. And so yeah, I'm just like, man, what is going on? So I guess, the girl was like, so my son, they did whatever, and I guess he stopped talking to her after
Oh.
he, got whatever. And
Mm.
I guess she got mad. And that's why she told him, because in the end, she told him, nah, I was just playing with you. I was just mad at you because you know.
Mm.
I was like, damn, that's a dirty trick, boy.
Right.
So I ended up
Ooh.
telling my wife, and then she told me, and then I was just like, oh, okay, now I get it. Now I understand why,
You was
what
over
the
there
hell
sick.
he was going through.
Right. You was over there sick to your stomach.
He's
Yeah.
like, Daddy done told me I fucked up.
He was 13, 14 years old, and you're like, fuck.
Yep.
All you had to do was do 1 year of this. But I'm going to tell you, I never had that issue with him after that. No girls. Like, I guess, he'll talk to him, but he ain't like,
Getting at him.
I gave him some rubbers. I don't know if he ever used them or not. You know what I mean? But he was just like, he was done with him for a while. He went to the new school, and he was just like focused on what he had to do. And then, and then COVID hit. So after that, it was just different. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that was a scare for him. It would have been a scare for me. He knew better than to tell me. I'd have been like, what the, we done had the talk. I done told you what I've been through. It ain't cool. All the women ain't cool out here, and especially, at that young age, So yeah, that was a relief. I'm gonna tell you that, because my wife told me, she was like, you know why he was sick? Why he was doing that? I was like, nah, it's because of woo woo woo. I was like, you know.
That,
And he grown now. He in the military. He grown now. He can do whatever he want. He can get married, have kids. He can not. You know what I mean? It's cool. Do whatever. Just don't make me a grandpa too early now.
no pawpaw, huh?
Nah, have fun,
Not
man.
as bad as you think.
And I ain't got time for no other kids, man. I'm trying to get these other two out.
That
I got a long way to go.
That part. Okay. All right. So yeah, Njord had presented some questions and I didn't write them down. But you could assume what questions he was asking.
What did he
Well, like one of the things was bringing up the topic about like your kids could be like transgender or say that they're gay to the parent or to the teacher, and the teacher's not obligated to tell the parent that situation's going on. And I don't know exactly where that bill was. And then then he had talked about what was it? The transitioning, because I kind of don't understand what that was, but it was like the transitioning medical care with the kids. I guess they're transitioning or whatever. So he kind of went and kind of talked about that, and and then it went in conjunction with that bill. Like, well, if you didn't have to tell the parents or whatever. And I said, I personally don't know all the details behind those types of bills. I would hope that it doesn't fall completely like on the teacher to hold on to that information and nobody gets notified, to where at least can be brought back to the parents' attention, or you know what I'm saying? Like, so, like I said, there was that came up. And my thing is like I said, the biological part, that's a male and a female thing. And I could just say sex education is that. Everything else beyond that, beyond the relationships or whatever, they want to have, to me, that's a different conversation. And so, like I said, my dad had said, you find people, you surround yourself with people that make you happy sooner so you could be happy longer. And, he said when you get to his age, and he was in his late 80s at this time, he's like, sex doesn't even matter at that point. It's about companionship, and it's about, people, surrounding yourself with them people. So I felt that was his take on like the whole gay lesbian thing. He never had a problem with it or anything like that. He never voiced opinion against it or anything like that. And my dad had a wife and a girlfriend at the same time, and they knew each other. So
true player.
So the thing is with that was, again, he, hey, we get to this age and I want to surround myself with people that make me happy, regardless of whatever that looks like. So yeah, we kind of touched up a little bit on that. And that's kind of like where, the conversation kind of went. And then when we went into like little after dark, I can't talk about it on the open show here, but we went a little bit more in depth on after dark about some different.
It got heated.
Well, let me say this, because me and my wife had this talk. We think that we're actually going to because I have a daughter, so it would be in my best interest to have that conversation with her earlier than maybe I had with my son, because everything's at their fingertips. So I don't want them to find out about it before we have the conversation. And one of the things in the conversation, he's is what kind of standard you're going to set for yourself, for her. I'm talking to her, you know what I mean? You got to set your standards high, and still what my mom said is it holds some truth. You never miss what you ain't never had. You don't know. It's really not something that you really want or something that you really need, because you don't know. But like the dirty magazines or the porn and stuff like that, that's one of the things that piqued my interest. You know what I mean? So I had that earlier, before I even had the 5th grade, you know, sexual talk or sex education. So I would think that, um, keeping like I don't have any dirty magazines. We keep everything blocked for them, like on their tablets and everything. We still monitor them while they're on it, and actually, we're getting them to where like they only watch it on the weekends. Well, some of the weekends, like these back-to-back weekends, they ain't been watching nothing.
Right.
To where we all watch family shows, or they can watch their kid shows, or things of that nature. But I believe, like, if you are like how I was, um, you saw the shit earlier in your life, you are more susceptible to becoming more sexually active earlier in your life. So I believe that if I can protect them from being or seeing, because I can't, they can't get in my room, so they won't see what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Uh,
Right.
I got a padlock. I mean, you got to download. You got to use a code to get in my room. So, we ain't got to worry about that. But it's just more so of what they see or what they hear, but the only thing is you can't protect them also at school with what they talk to about with their friends either.
Right.
You can suggest that they don't engage in any conversation, but they're kids. They want to see and know what's going on. They nosy.
Right.
You know.
You know,
But with my daughter, I believe we're going to approach it a little differently.
right. And that was the thing too about, like, again, we could talk about sex education and the biological aspect of making a child, and then like the sexualization of it is a for me. I
Right.
mean, it goes hand in hand, but I feel that if it's a science class, I don't mind like the schools talking about it or whatever because it's a science class. But once we're talking about the emotional aspect of it, or again, Njord brought in his faith because like he was in a split household, and his mom was like the faith based go to church, and the dad had three other brothers over there, so he had the contrast between the two when that conversation had came up, right? And so again, I believe that the sexualization, the relationship between it again, and Njord brought it because, and I keep saying because I'm not a religious guy, so I don't say that. But he brought in the whole faith aspect of it, which is get married, blah 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 blah. Make sure you do it, quote unquote, the correct way before you have children, and that relationship that you have between each other and your combined relationship with God, and all those different aspects that go with that. I feel that all those parts of the conversation have to stay within the family unit, or they need to happen
Yeah.
in the family unit versus it being something open, to the schools, or even like what you said, to your kids' own devices. It's just like they're
Mm-hmm.
figuring this stuff out, and their minds aren't developed enough to filter through what's real and what's
Exactly.
not real. So,
Exactly.
okay. All right, Kyron, did you
Yeah,
have
but
anything
so
to
bring
add?
it.
Oh, I'm sorry, because
Oh,
I
my
just see
bad.
his mic's lit up. So,
No, I don't. I don't. I've been out of this for a while as far as like interactions with kids in schools. Like, I don't know how some of you keep your cool. Like, there's some stuff that I hear that's going on that I'd probably be in jail because I come from a completely different generation where if I had a problem with the principal, I'd walk into the principal's office and we'd have a conversation. Now you got to
discussion.
go through. Now you got to go through right 18 doors and 15 Karens to even talk to the principal. So I don't know how you guys actually. I don't know how you deal with it. Like, it's just completely different. Like, if I had a kid now, I don't I don't know that I would use the public education system. Like, I might homeschool and do a lot of that on my own, or find a private school, right? One where you see the values and it's up front, and I think your private schools have more of a what they allow as opposed to public schools where it's well, here's what we allow, which is like 8 billion things, and we're going to support them all. And it's like, well, you're spending more time supporting the kids' I don't, in my mind, imaginary crap, and you're not teaching them what they're there to be taught. They're not. There's too much time being spent on this new socialization. They're not learning their basic skills. And none of them. Look at the new generations. They can't even talk to people. Like when you're trying to talk to someone, just at a fast food place, you're just trying to explain how you want your burger made, and the dude's having a complete meltdown. like and take it from his perspective. Go on the other side of that screen. It is so dumbed down. It's not like he has to go through 15 million menus to select your burger, then take off the pickles, then add the mayo. It's not like that. The screen is all picturified for like a 2-year-old. So you select burger, and then it shows a pickle, and then one pickle is just a pickle, and one pickle has a red circle with a line through it. Do you want the pickle? You do not want the pickle, right? I mean, so it's not brain science, but they can't do it. They don't have the basic skills that we were taught in school to just interact and pay your bills. Like, have you seen those guys like get mad that they got a whole 40 hours at work?
I have not seen that, no.
They do. They break. Oh my God, I gotta work 40 hours. And here I'm like, God, are we gonna get our 40 hours this week? Right? I mean, it's just completely flip-flopped. Everything's upside down from when I had kids in school.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and that's very, very true. I think they were saying that the internet was supposed to be something that, catapulted us into the future and made us more efficient and brought us together. And I really think the internet, just that free flowing of unfiltered information to some folks that aren't mentally or mature enough to, again, decimate between the two, disseminate between the false information and what's the real information, and it just shows in our society today. So, yeah, it's very, very unfortunate that we thought we were going to be creating something that helped us and it didn't. So, okay, all right. Well, let's see here. How we at? We good on that? We good on the birds and the bees? What we gonna talk about next?
I want to we kind of breeze through something real quick though that I would like to touch back on since we got two new ones here. The bill about students being able to talk to their teachers and the teachers can't say anything to the family.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I think you should pay for that. If you're not paying for that, that doesn't count. Like
No,
if you're going to like a psychiatrist or somewhere, a doctor, right? You're bringing your child to an educated professional that has a degree in child psychology that understands what your child is going through, or how they're maybe not what they're going through, but how to process what they're going through. I don't know that education is the same education that every teacher has. I knew teachers when I was going to school, they were just fill-ins. They'd been filling in for a year and a half.
Right.
For someone that went and had a kid, right? And they didn't know they were the soccer coach. They didn't have a clue about what they were actually teaching us. They went off a curriculum and made sure that, but if you had any questions, that he was just like, well, go read the lesson again, right? So,
yeah,
I don't know. I think it just should depend on their actual education level. I don't think that whole medical privacy thing counts if you're not a medical
Right.
professional.
Was it the HIPAA law, right?
Yeah,
Right,
that's
right.
the HIPAA law.
Yeah, we don't have any HIPAA laws with our teachers, right? I didn't sign anything like that when it comes to the teachers.
Right. Now, I'm not too versed in it or if this is something that is passed in certain states. But one of the things I had talked about it was, I could see where I had shared, I've been, an ally of the LGBTQ since like the June of '92. I used to do like, security. I was on the board of directors of the Sexual Minorities Alliance of Alameda County. So I grew up like when I was younger during this time, like when somebody came out to their family, they were put out on the street. And there was a high rate of suicide amongst, young gay lesbian folks. So I could, what I shared last week was I shared that I can see how if a parent was to find out that I don't know about the consequences now, but in previous generations, like that was a crazy thing to come out to, and there was a high consequence, or they'd be disowned from the family and stuff like that. So I said I could see where the spirit of a bill like this could, how it even got to as big as it is. And then Njord had brought up, well, do you think like a bill like that affects everybody that's only going to help a small minority of people should affect everybody that, should it affect all the population or whatever? So, that was my take again, because I don't know too much about that and I did not research it, nor does it come up in my streams or anything like that. The only time it comes up in my streams or, across my news feeds, it's a Republican talking point. That's, the kids are kids are going to school and having, transgender surgery, coming home and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I don't know anywhere that's like that. And again, as far as like what states are doing this particular bill, again, I'm not too versed in it. It doesn't come across my feeds, nor did I take the time out to look at it. I just know that maybe because I don't have kids that are in that demographic or something. I don't know. So yeah, that was basically my take on that. Krinlee, was there something very specific you wanted to talk, or you just wanted to get their take on it?
I just want to get their take on it, one, and two, be like, in my personal opinion, the bigger picture is like, if these people feel like they can't talk to their family, maybe there's something else wrong that needs to be looked at. And that, just to throw that out there, like, I mean,
No, you're absolutely right. I definitely agree with that. I agree. Like and it wasn't always easy trying to tell my parents things or that I did something, or because you know what the reaction was. Nowadays, I'm trying to be a little bit. Well, not trying to be. I am different, and I want my kids to have be able to come to me with anything that they are going through, anything problems that they're having, anything that they need to talk about. And I feel like with my kids at a young age now, we're building that rapport. We are building that. We're not. There's not any barriers going up because I'm not critical of them. And when they tell me something, we actually have a conversation. So I'm building a relationship with them so that they can continuously come back and tell me anything, and we can have a great conversation. I had to see with my son. I had to break barriers and tear walls down because there was times that I was too critical of him and too, hard on him. So now we have those conversations now that he's older about, he'll call me and ask me, "Hey, Dad, what do you think about this?" Or, "Hey, this happened today. What's your opinion on it?" Or, should I or shouldn't I? Things of that nature. So I believe, it starts, at this young age, and we as parents have to change the way that maybe we grew up with our and change the approach that we take with our kids.
one of the talking points we had last week was it coming back down to communication. And the communication within that family unit was very important for this topic and others that relate, because we talk about sex education, you open the door for just everything else, right? Any kind of vice, anything like that. And I think one of the things that was mentioned last week was, when your kids are young, you listen to everything they have to say, even though you might not think it's a big thing. To them, it's the world. That little Lego thing that they built, it's a big deal to them, and to you, to us as parents and adults, that might not be a big thing. But when we garner that interaction and that communication with our kids, it shows them that, hey, they could talk to you about anything. And I think one of the things that you mentioned earlier about having to break down walls, even within ourselves as being dads for the first time, our first kids usually get the worst of us, because as parents, because we're still learning how to be a parent and how to communicate, and how certain things do affect them. And the other thing too is generational trauma. That's one thing. As I've gotten older, I don't want my kids to have the generational trauma that I had. What that looks like. My kid doesn't got to get their ass whooped. You know what I'm saying? I could talk to them and communicate with them, and again, teach them lessons in other ways. Just so that they don't grow up, with that, you know, that stress, or again, the trauma. So, yeah. Okay. Let's see. Any last?
Chiron's got some.
Oh, go ahead. Chiron's
All right, Mr.
microphone
Chiron.
lit up.
Yeah, I don't see again. This is like where, like I think a lot of us grew up way different. Like the way you guys talk is it's kind of alien to me. The way you guys are, the way you guys perceive like certain stuff. Like I think a lot of the problem is we can't parent our own kids. You guys will never ever parent your own kids. It's just a plain out fact that the minute they leave your house, any other information that was passed from any other kid's parents that your kid interacts with is now getting that feed, right? It's like your parents have a TV station and they just want you to watch certain programs, but when they go out into the world, they're seeing other parents TV stations that they're showing their kids, and that's how when I was growing up, you didn't met that was kind of like a golden rule. I didn't tell you how to raise your kids, and you don't tell me how to raise my kids. And it was always just like a known respect. There was no interference. And I think there's too much, I don't know, there's too much interference. You can't raise your kid because your kid is being raised by all these other parents. Does that make
I don't,
I
no, I don't quite
yeah, I guess I'm kind of lost on that one because,
I'm raising my kids.
yeah, I mean, and that's the thing.
That's
Like,
not.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
just
not
raising it.
saying. I'm not saying that
I don't
you're
get it.
not raising it. They're getting the information. It's just like if you say don't look at something, the kid at school is going to show that to them whether you want them to see it or not.
I got
They're
you.
getting that same information. So if a kid is learning bad from his parents at home, like how to be disrespectful to women, and then he goes to school, and even though you've taught your kid, hey, that's not right, he's now got to choose between what you're saying and what his best friend is saying, right? And it's
Well,
in a kid's mind, your dad, right? But this is his best friend, right? So it's
well,
a
a lot of the times I hear my daughter like, and I get what you're saying. Like, um, there'll be stuff that's going on in school with her friends or whatever, and she'll actually come home and talk to me or my wife about it, and we'll have a conversation about yes, no, that's not the right way to do things, or because kids talk, right? They talk about what's going on at home sometimes, or it may slip out, or different things. Um, we so my kids do go to private school, so we keep them a little sheltered in that way. And most of the kids at the school, well, I don't know most, but a lot of the kids that she hang out with, they, two parent household, things of that nature, and maybe there's a little different diaspora within the household, but for the most part, we try to put our kids in a place to where we don't have to hear the outside noise, as what you say. Like, if we were to put my kids in this school, that we see these damn kids back here cussing, hear them cussing and saying the F word, dropping bombs, you know what I mean? Once we heard that, we knew we had to take her somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they don't allow, like, maybe here they might allow the kids with phones and stuff. At the school she's at now, nobody, they have their laptops or their Chromebooks or whatever, but ain't no phones, but yes, I do hear what you're saying is like there's certain little things that other households may watch, but we don't watch. My kids just don't have free time to watch TV and what they want to watch all the time. We watch family shows. During the week, they don't get no TV. We all watch one program, a half hour, maybe 20 minutes of a baking show. You know what I mean? Or we watch Family Matters, and even then we had to screen Family Matters because as Laura and Steve got older, we had to keep rewinding it and making it to where they, back to when they was kids, because they don't understand what's going on when, Laura and Steve start kissing other we not gonna go through that. So, but yes, if my kids went to this school, I would be worried about what other kids are saying to them. You know what I mean? And how, what the hell's going on in their households, because my kid is coming home telling me stuff about trauma that these other kids that went through, and maybe some of them kids over there get their ass whooped, and I tell them, all the time, you don't want to go down that road. We don't, meaning that I don't want to do that to y'all. And I tell them, how I used to be and how I had this conversation.
Freezing up there a little bit, but
Who, me?
yeah,
Oh, my bad.
you're good. You're
I'm
good
down. You got anything to say, Flac, to add to that?
now. You know what? Yeah. My wife stays at home, so there's always somebody at home to pick them up, and like I said, I work damn near every day. And I sacrifice, and we live in a nice little area, and the kids do go to public school. But I do get what you're saying about that, Chiron. But I also think, that the way you explained it, I mean, it was going to happen anyway, regardless if it was now or 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I mean, kids always get influenced by other kids. But I think now with the internet, it's just worse. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, with our situation, we always talk about communication. We always ask questions. My wife is very involved in the school. She works in their classroom. She knows who the little BA little kid is, and so we always ask, like, do you know this person or this person, or what happened with this person and stuff like that. So my wife is very active, and I'm fortunate enough that where I work, and it provides me the light to where I do got to work a lot, but somebody's at home with my kids. And, that was like the American dream with that. So I could get what you're saying about all the influences. And then, of course, how everything, especially with the schools, basically being more of a social experiment than actual institutions of education, if I'm explaining that better. But it's always going to go down to, and unfortunately, not every household could afford to do so with our economic situation as it is. But it always is going to come down to, regardless, how much interaction are the parents going to have with raising their kids. And in some cases, like you said, folks that are fortunate enough to parent households and in good neighborhoods and things like that, it's always going to be the nots, the have-nots, like the ones that, regardless, you either work day and night and you put them in private school, but you don't see them, or you put them in a low-income public school where you're not busting your butt, but you're more concerned about your kid getting shot on our way home. So it's being a parent nowadays and raising our kids in this society right now, it's a challenge. And I think that's where we are, like, just as a society. I mean, this could be anywhere in the world, unless of course you're on an island somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Where you don't. Go ahead.
Sorry, Cameron, you didn't have to worry about gun violence when you were growing up either, though, huh?
I didn't have to worry about gun violence
in school.
Yeah, I had metal detectors on the front doors. I grew up in Maryville on the west side of Phoenix when I was a kid. So yeah, I grew up all around there.
Was there mass
the minority. I was the minority in my school.
Okay. But you didn't have to work. Well, when you were growing up, did you have mass shootings in schools? Did Columbine happen yet? No.
Oh no,
I didn't have mass shootings in the shoes, but we had just as many in the parks. It was more about the gangs in the parks than anything when I grew up. The Crips and the Bloods were at each other's throats when I was growing up.
Back in the day when gang banging was respectable, they didn't shoot up schools.
Right. Now we got to worry about our school kids, schools being shot up and shit,
Right. So. Okay. Well, that actually brings us to the end of our show. Let's go some closing statements, or anybody want to kind of shoot anything out before we end today's episode? No?
Don't be eating no cats, no dogs. I just want to throw that out there.
Millions and millions of dogs,
Right.
millions and millions of cats.
Oh, jeez.
I just seen it on TV. I seen it.
Oh my God. When I went. Okay, maybe that'll be a topic for after dark. Right. Okay, so again, I want to say thank you for everybody that listened to this week's episode of the Dad's Life podcast. Do apologize, we were late because of me. I was running a little bit late, and I want to say welcome back to Chiron. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate you filling in for Njord. Shout out to Njord as well. Sensei, welcome back. Krinlee, it's always a pleasure. We're gonna see everybody next week. That sound like a plan?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, and so I just want to say to everybody, thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Dad's Life podcast live on YouTube. Head out to shadowpackwest.com to check us out and all the information there. You could also join our patronage from the website, where you can start your patronage as little as $1 a month. But again, thank you for watching this week's episode of the Dad's Life podcast, and we hope you tune in to next week's episode of the Dad's Life podcast, where you can get your dad life, dad advice. All right, later, guys.
I just gave up after last week.
We out.
We out.